But a lot of husbands wake up to the reality of the weightiness of marriage or the gravity of marriage later. There's a lot of stories that are tragic where guys leave and they end up divorcing. And it's only aftermath of divorce where they're like, oh, smack, I just went into this thing unprepared.
It was a big struggle for me from adjusting from individualism to be a family man. Now the biggest problem is sekunabantu engibalande la bebakhona ngabaletha in my own space. Ngimlandile unkosikazi kubo uyangithola ngithi omunye bekahleli kuphi le emazulwini ngamlanda khona abantwana ngithi sengibalandile, all of them are here, man, and I'm overwhelmed by their presence.
And I realized that I'm ready to either go or ready for her to leave. I never owned the life because I grew up just like you, not owning stuff.
Yeah.
So there's a part of me where I had developed a detachment from things, even the beautiful things. And it wasn't really registering in my mind that this person loves me. And there was always a part of me that's thinking, she's going to leave at some point.
Sure. As a man, I'm just like putting my points. This is what I expect. I think in my mind, I'd expected her to like, okay, Baba, yeah, Baba. Yeah. No, she just, then she comes out strong. She voices out concerns. She becomes assertive. No, I don't think this, I think that. And I was not ready for that confrontation. I was not ready for that. You understand? That's when I realized, I'm not well capacitated for this.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to That Husband podcast with me, Black Newborn. Here we are husbands who aren't where we want to be, but certainly are not where we used to be. We are imperfect, always failing forward, trying to know better so that we can do better. Hey, what's up? Black Newborn here from That Husband podcast, man. We're excited to let you know something. On the 4th of October, we are having what we're calling That Husband Prep Workshop. If you're a husband, man, this is going to be a great refresher. You might have been married for a couple of years, but you haven't actually considered what the gravity, the weightiness, the reality of marriage actually requires. And so you finding that out very slowly and you wondering, where should I go? Pull through to this workshop on the 4th of October. It's going to be incredible, man. I'm there. DJ Magabaza is there. Themba, Ntuli, and Jabu, Zwane. And we're going to be speaking about your topics that are relevant to you. Let me just tell you what I'm going to be chatting about. 2 things, man. How do you make sure that you formulate a family vision that's not only going to excite your wife as you call her to something, but it's really going to propel you even in the moments when things are hard. Secondly, how do you recover from a position when you failed spiritually in leading your wife? And that's something that matters to you and you really want help with that. So pull through. 4th of October, it's going to be incredible. That Husband Prep Workshop. All right? Peace. Hey, what's up? Welcome to That Husband podcast with me, Black Newborn. This is where husbands try to know better so that we can do better. And before we jump into this episode, shout outs to everybody who's been supporting us. If this is your first time, do not forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell so that you're updated on every single episode that we drop. Every Wednesday at Hoppus 11, 2 ways you can support us. 1, you can go on our official website, thathusband.com, and you can find everything that we are building here. Our online store, tickets to Beans and Bonds, and you can buy us coffee through that site as well. Number 2, you can book me as a speaker, an MC, or facilitator for your next event, and you can drop us an email at booking@blacknewborn.com. That's booking@blacknewborn.com. Today, it is hot. We have Avengers. We have Amakrutman. Hey, you probably seen by the title and the thumbnail, man. We have giants. We have giants today. I'm excited for this conversation. These are brothers. These are men I've gotten to know over the past year and just value their opinion and their contribution to this thing called husbandhood. And their hearts to want to see this country become better. So I'm excited for what it is that we're going to chat about today. But in case you don't know them, we'll start on my far right. Just a quick intro. Ubani Zazise.
Oh, today I introduced myself. I'm going to show you honors. Thanks, man, for having me. So my name is Themba Ntuli. I am a child of God. I love the Lord with all of my heart.
Come on, man.
I'm a husband and a father. I'm very much blessed and privileged to actually have those roles in my life. So yeah, married to an amazing woman, have a baby girl that I truly, truly love.
Sure.
Do I need to go deeper?
No, that's good, bro.
Yeah, it's better.
Just wait for the deep stuff later.
Udokotela,
bro.
eh?
Come in.
Tell us.
No, that's good, bro. Directly on my right.
Hey. Let me start by saying, hey, ungibeke endaweni wrong.
Yeah.
Bekumele ngabe ngihleli la kuhleli uZwane khona. Hlala phambi kwa-doctor ngapha uyakhwehlela. Bazogcina bathi, that's thrombosis, a malfunction of what. Yabona?
Tuberculosis.
I mean, I'm very simple.
Sure.
Igama lami nguDJ Magabaza. I'm a marriage and relationship therapist. I'm also a certified NLP practitioner. So I am into full-time practicing. I assist abantu nje with mental health issues abantu ababhekana nazo. Anything ehlukumeza umoya womuntu, inhliziyo, ingqondo, siyalaphanda sisebenzisa ubuchwepheshe be-psychology.
Cheers.
I also have a facility where we conduct play therapy. Play therapy is a system that we use to try and regulate my emotions of Antwana, try and build a solid relationship between kids and parents. I am very passionate about healing the broken men and making them better men.
That's good, bro.
It doesn't matter how old you are, but there's that small wounded boy in you. And hello, wounded boy ge engidila naye.
Nah, thanks for that, brother. Appreciate it, man. It's simple. Hey.
How deep would you play
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 Somebody
together.
start saying it. I'm not gonna be long. Forget it. I'll be simple. Forget it. Sensitizing you for
To my left, sir. Who are you?
I mean, I'm complicated.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean, man?
Nah, man.
Well, my name is Jabu Zwane, guys. I'm a founder of the Mindset Development Institute. I also am a husband, I'm a father, and yes, I'm a very passionate child of God. But also, I believe that I'm a community builder and a healer. And in so doing as well, like Uput Mkabab, I'm also involved in helping men. There's a movement we just started now called the Men of Change movement.
Sure.
And that's where we talk about 12 battles of a man. And the idea is to bring men to young people, men to other men, and to tackle the battles that men are facing.
Yeah.
So, let's khuluma about.
Thank you.
Let's khuluma about.
Come on. Nami ngizokhuluma nawe.
Yeah, sikhulume now, Jam, because abakhuluma bethu.
Wena ngimakhuluma na ngifone. This guy on WhatsApp. He needs
Hey, we're gonna out each other
his
today.
salvation, I question it. I question the salvation that comes to WhatsApp.
Me, I love Jesus.
Listen.
Yeah, by grace only.
No, but I repent.
Oh, by grace.
I have
I
repented.
resonate. That's how everyone feels about me. So I'm not gonna take jabs.
But
on
you
it.
eventually come around.
No, but he doesn't. He doesn't even.
Anyway, we're not gonna make this about WhatsApp. We're not gonna make this about WhatsApp. Man, this is great. I'm excited for what it is that we're gonna jump into. And I think just maybe a note. This is like a a small pixel of what a bigger picture of collaboration would look like. Because I find that a lot of men don't have solid friendships. And by solid friendships, I mean this, that we're not just linking up to watch soccer, or we're just linking up to talk about whatever other, big gadget that we're buying, but like guys who genuinely want to speak life into each other, shape each other.
Yeah.
And I found that like in very small ways, you guys have become that for me. And hopefully the nonsense I say to you is somewhat helpful as well, but I think,
it's make sure.
But I say this to say that this is just a way to encourage guys out there, man, try and have meaningful friendships. And not just shallow conversations with guys just passing on his cut, but really building each other. Because I think the strength or the health of your marriage depends on the kind of caliber of men you keep around you. And the kind of father that you're gonna be will depend on the kind of men that you hang around with. So be encouraged. I think take this as motivation, inspiration for you to pursue solid friendships. Yeah, I don't know if you guys want to add anything on that, or we can dive straight.
Let's kill it.
Yeah.
But I think that's a very good point to start off on.
Sure.
Why is it important for us as men to have men,
Yeah.
who around us? Because I mean, most of us grew up without that solid support of men as examples. At least I didn't.
Sure.
It was when I came to Pretoria and I met the man that became my pastor and my mentor at the age of 19, African American. He eventually introduced me to another ecosystem of other men. And I think being with other men is what restored my manhood. Whatever manhood tips, whatever manhood wisdom and guide I should have had as a kid, I was able to sort of redeem it through those relationships. And I think sometimes what I find is that people may think it's too late. I'm too old now. I'm too old to have a relationship. I mean, in the room here, I met you about 2 years ago. I met you about a year ago. But it's like we met about a couple of months ago. But the relationship is almost like we've known each other for a long time. Because ultimately, when you're older, you're able to sort of select the kind of men that sort of align with your values and with where you're going. And then the connection is almost like instant. And I think I want to encourage men not to be afraid to open themselves up to possibility of having, friendships in their advanced years. It has worked for me. It has served me extremely well. So I think it's important.
No, it is, man. I would echo those sentiments all day long. And I think part of the reason why is just like we don't want to appear as weak, man. And this kind of friendship calls you to get to a level where you pull down your pants, right? And
Not literally, but
What an image! But it does the job.
emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, where I can be open and naked.
Yes.
But our egos are just too big, man.
Yeah.
Our egos are just too big that I would want another man to speak into my life. And even that tells me like you probably know the quality of men around you. That's why you don't want to get deep with them, because you don't value what they're gonna bring. You know what I mean? So I'm like, if I think you guys are losers, then I'm not gonna open up for you to speak into my life, because I don't value your opinion at all. Which would then be an indictment on me to say, like, why am I not going out to look for quality men? And I would even say the reason I wouldn't go out to look for quality men is because I haven't defined what kind of man I'm becoming myself. So once I know who I'm becoming, then I'll say, man, like, I need giants like these to help me achieve that vision, But if I don't know that vision or have it, then I'll avoid any kind of input that guys give. So
I mean, just to add on that, not just only knowing what kind of a person you're becoming, but also knowing your shortcomings as well.
Sure.
And being true to that.
Sure.
Like, I think sometimes challenges now that we don't want to accept. The other time I was talking to men and I said, we have a problem. Our relationship with the mirror is quite broken. We as men, like, it's not as the same as women. Women have got a very good relationship with the mirror. And I was saying the reason for that is probably because a part of them can take confrontation. Because the mirror tells you straight up, I'm not talking about Jungana, but
you're forgetting that you're an elder here. You're an elder.
A mirror does tell you to say straight up, right? But it's not just about the mirror. It's about being able to take a confrontation and take criticism as man.
Yeah. Wow.
So it goes above and beyond you just identifying who you are, but it also goes to say identify your shortcomings as a man. And then find men that can complement you.
Yeah.
It's okay for you not to be enough.
Sure.
You don't expect it to be enough.
You are not enough.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
You shouldn't.
So find men around you. Find men that can carry you. And again, the conversation is not to say, because again, we need to qualify it. Because we're saying find men, mchita is like, na machita, but ba you done. Yeah, so she's just gang. It's the kind of conversations you guys are having. Are these kind of people building you or breaking you?
Sure.
Are you sitting namachita that would say to you, don't switch off your phone, let not your wife your wife must not call you. You know, you understand? Like, what kind of amachita are you chilling with? You know, because guys in general are quite social people, right?
Yeah.
So they do have friends.
Yeah.
But the question is, what kind of friends do you have? What kind of quality do you have? Quality men around you? You know, are they encouraging you to be a better man? Are they calling you out when you're wrong? You know, it's a problem to have men that just celebrate your kind.
I'm fine.
She's just going about now, but
I hear you, bro.
you know.
I hear you, man.
You know, I think I sent my wife a text just 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Ngithi, hey love, ngafa English ekhulunywa la. Hey, ngithi sithanda la khulunywa esinye isibungu. Angiboni ukuthi ngizolunga la. Hey, mami look like akathi quality njengomuntu quality. Quality. Hey madoda. Hey. Manje angazi ngiqalephi ke nami manje.
Rola lesi.
No, ithi ngilandele. Yeah. You know, there's something engiyithandayo ngesizulu, which is very important. Isizulu sithi inkunzi sematholeni, right? And it means the future husbands are among these young boys. Come on.
Yeah.
And if we overlook grooming them, we are doing great injustice kahle kahle to the future. Our biggest problem ukuthi we lacked positive mentors for a very long time.
Yes.
And today we are sitting with decisions that are killing us that we took back then because we lacked mentors. We were indirectly mentored by horrible people that we thought were living the life. And the sad part, Guti, most of them, we didn't even have access to them, to speak to them, sit next to them. But at some point, we wanted to be like them. You understand? And we born na shaya all the time, smells good, to push it all over top, nani. Social life is on point, and you're like, Kanti, there's a horrible seed that they keep on planting. And I bonakali at that moment is bonakala. So I advocate for yabona gathering because it was iron sharpens iron. So we are here with the sofundisana. Yeah. Ngizofunda nesilungu ke.
Sibonga. Yeah. Na kanjani mfethu?
Mina ngizofunda isiZulu.
Yeah,
I'm in Mazulu era man. Ngizofunda mangete wangempela.
Yeah. Kuphuka la.
You guys are corrupt. I mean, I think, yeah, man, that's a brilliant just point for us to segue and get into what it is that we want to chat about. You know, thinking about training, discipleship, grooming. We found that like a lot of husbands wake up to the reality of I think it's the reality.
Yeah.
The reality of
Reality.
excuse me. For the private school.
Reality.
Went to boys high.
Yeah.
Tina siyam kungundlo
Yeah.
kungundlo.
Super tsile.
Vuka ufunde. Yeah.
Guys, focus, man. Focus.
Yeah.
Focus, James.
Focus.
So, but a lot of husbands wake up to the reality of the weightiness of marriage or the gravity of marriage later,
Yeesh.
if ever they wake up.
Yeah.
Right? Because you know, there's a lot of stories that are tragic where guys leave and they end up divorcing, and it's only aftermath of divorce where they're like, oh smack, I just went into this thing unprepared. And it's one thing to see it, you know, 1 or 2 years into the marriage. But I think just with doing this work, I've noticed and observed that like the issue starts premarital.
Yes.
You know, so the wife comes in, sits with one of you guys to do premarital counseling, and the wife has her story.
Yeah.
You know, so what do you think about marriage? You know, this is my idea of marriage. It's created by God. It's for the family, etc., etc. Manjo and Amjita, what do you think about marriage? I don't know what she said. Yeah. Us is push. We'll figure this thing out. You know? Yeah. How many kids do you want to have? Wife, 4, 5. Has the names, knows, you know, what the age gap is going to be. She's thought about that stuff. Okay, budgeting, etc. She's thought about this stuff. And when you ask the guy, he's either just scrambling and making stuff up as he's going, because again, he's a man. He doesn't want to be embarrassed. His ego is intact. He wants to impress his future wife to say, I have this thing. But he really hasn't thought about the stuff. Again, he hasn't had anybody grooming him, no mentors to look up to. And so he wanted to get married, one, because that's something that we should do as men. Society expects us to get married. But underneath that, he also wanted to get married because he wanted to have sex. Right?
Yeah.
Clean.
I want to have sex. So when they ask him about the sex during premarital, ulavuka khona ke, pun intended.
I'm a player.
And wait up until a thrower, and then kana zobona ukuthi emshadweni we don't have sex every day.
Every day.
This is
That reality.
If you have it 20% of the time, you're lucky.
Man.
Are you a last man?
You're lucky. Because there's budgeting, there's kids, there's fights, there's work, there's in-laws, there's church, there's chores, there's social media, and that's 80% of your life. Or even more. You know, so and then that's the thing that frustrates him. I mean, I've been cabang ukuthi mfethu, this thing is gonna be regular. And now you realize, man, marriage is bigger than this. You know,
It's bigger.
So the chat today is how can we help guys identify that what causes this thing, what causes us not to wake up to the realities of marriage. Why are our female counterparts thinking about marriage at such an early age? Why do they prepare themselves, that by the time they even sit with premarital counselors, they're ready? What is it about us that makes us unready? What is it about us that we sleeping? There's a dulling of our imagination that has happened, and we haven't really wrestled or really grappled with the realities of marriage until we say I do, and by then it's too late completely.
It's way too late.
Yeah.
So if I can go first.
Yeah,
Sure.
sure. Come on now.
We give you permission.
Thank you. Fuck money. It's what you're asking is something that has been in my heart for some time. In fact, I think a couple of weeks ago I spoke on that. And the title was Trapped and Fell into Marriage. I was talking to men. I'm like, we trip and fall into marriage. Like I do. On stage. Like you have no idea. They say
do what?
to your wedding.
You do what?
But I think in a room for suit.
Too many photo your suit in the location, but Sashata next week, and we say I do, and then these things appear which we're not ready when we are already in the journey, right? And I think the challenge, and my submission is the biggest challenge, is that women generally are socialized into home building as young when they're quite young. DJ, their therapist will probably explain why. But from a tender age, she knows what she probably wants a wedding to look like. She knows she wants to get married to a guy. My wife knew she wants to get married at the age of 25. And I married her on her 25th birthday. Unyala, no.
No, Jay, nah.
Unyala, you mean?
When I say bakubuza buta, asofika nje umshado noma kunini.
But she had timelines and all of that. Women are socialized into that. And I think a larger part of it could be because our stats are showing us that in the country, about 7 in 10 Black African kids, boys, are growing up without father figures. Fathers or father figures in the house. So which means that a majority of the household are female, are led by women. Right? So of course then they get to socialize. Daughters then get to sort of like, get more of that from their mothers, but sons then get to be abdicated in the process. And I think it's by default. Daughters much get to gravitate towards their mothers. They get to learn the chores in the house, this, that, and the other. And the sons just playing outside. You repeat the same thing. Why? Because there's no voice in the house. There's no father figure in the house. A couple of years ago, before I got married, it was a December type of thing. I was home back then, a couple of years ago. I just started working, bought a nice car. I'm sitting, it was like, I think on Christmas Day, I'm sitting, I'm just in the room, and all I hear outside the house is female voices. All I hear. Like there's no Uncle Joe that is making noise and playing music out loud. There's no Babu Mngane so and so who's asking kids to go buy bread. Nothing. It's just female voices in the house.
Crazy,
It's
bro.
the aunts. And that time there's boys in the house. I'm one of the boys. And I've got other cousin brothers and all of that. But all I could hear is female voices.
Crazy.
And I wondered, where are the men? Right? So how am I supposed to aspire to be a family man when I grew up in a setup where I don't see a father in the house? Like I don't see that picture in the house, Blessed enough these days, in my daughter, I've got a 3-year-old baby girl. In her mind, a family is a mom, a dad, and a child. And we've got a stay-in helper and a helper. That is a complete family in her mind. So we're breaking the cycle because that isn't normal. You understand? But it's not normal to a lot of kids, especially boys. Grow up in the house, raised by Uma. There's a lot of sisters in the house. Aunts are there. They're involved. Nabo babu mncane that are involved there and there. But there's no voice that speaks over this man. So I think that's where the issue is.
When you say, and before these gents jump in, when you say that women are socialized, I was like, man, but these same women are raised by single mothers, just like us. So where does the socialization happen? Is it just among the females that they talk? Because I'm like, you'll get a bunch of single aunts, single mothers.
Yes.
They're all not married. Are they talking about marriage to these girls? Or is it social media? Is it movies? Is it general media that's socializing them? And if that's the case, why don't we get access to that as boys, or we don't even expose ourselves to that? Because I'm like, if I think of I have 2 sisters. We all 3 of us grew up in a broken home. So who's talking to them about marriage? Because clearly there was no father to talk to me about marriage. Did my mother talk to them and avoid talking about marriage with me? But how would my mother talk about marriage to these girls when she's divorced as well? You know what I mean? Like, so who's actually doing this socialization? Because I agree with you that they are.
Do you want me to answer that?
Sure.
I almost get the sense that it's different for men, boys, and girls, right?
Sure.
That's my opinion. I feel like for women, they gravitate more to wanting what they never had.
Okay.
So I did not have a father or grew up in a setup where there's a dad and there's a mom.
Yeah.
So I gravitate towar's that. I want that. Boys run away towards what they don't know.
Sure.
We are like that as men. If we are uncertain and we are not too sure, and whatever, we just run away from that.
Sure.
So to put it simply, women then get to idolize the concept of marriage. Boys get to demonize the concept of marriage.
Hey.
And that's where the fine line is.
Sure.
Right? Because chances are the little girl grows up and sees the mom struggling in trying to get the family together, this, that, and the other. And she realizes that the reason why she struggles like this is because there's no man in the house. Yeah. So when I grow up, I would rather have a man that can actually, balance the scale.
But you as a boy, it angers you.
It angers you. You demonize that. So there is that element. I think that's where the difference is, right? And because with women, then they get to have a conversation. They get to be expressive about it. The seed and this anger and this, anger about it doesn't get to be that much deep, right? But I'm a cheater because we don't even talk about it. So itayama aliko, right? But Uchere would have a conversation no more time and again when they are cleaning, when they are cooking, this, that, and the other. Cheater has all these questions and no one to ask these questions to, and no one to answer those questions. So they grow up with a lot of mystery in their minds.
It's crazy, bro.
Right? So that might lead them to actually demonize the concept of marriage.
I do think the content as well. When you're talking now, I'm like, man, when I grew up, all the stuff that was popular was actually geared for women.
Yeah.
Days of Our Lives.
Of course.
It was for women.
Yeah.
Even the church. Even the church.
Yeah.
Even the church. I mean, I've been pastoring for a long time, and it's one of the questions I was faced with every day in a church. Churches that are planted was so much is geared towards, catering for women.
It's femicentric.
And it's because of women talk about what they want, to go back to your point. Women talk about what they want. And another thing, there's a lot of mentorship happening in a woman-daughter, in mother-daughter relationships and aunt, whatever, niece relationships. I can play conversations in my mind where my sisters, my nieces were told you're not gonna be able to be a good wife like that. But there's never a conversation where you're not gonna be a good husband like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Never. Yeah.
That's a very, very important framing that we need to understand.
Sure.
And I think that plays into something that we as men fear the most, because it's one of the things we are judged by, which is intelligence. And intelligence is knowing. So we have a very bad relationship with not knowing. So even if you don't know, I would rather pretend that I know so that I can get the credit for knowing what I don't know and act as if I know what I don't know. So that mystery thing that you're talking about, we grew up with that mystery, which creates a lot of chaos in our minds. And that's part of the reason why, at the end of the day, we don't want to talk about what we don't know. That's why they come to therapy, they sit with us, and then the woman is leading the conversation, and Umjita is just like, like they are very, very, very short words, which plays back to what I'm sure you can talk a bit more to that. One of the studies that they've done around juvenile detainees in the USA, especially teenage boys, where they found that 67% of them had got poor linguistic development.
Yes.
Which then leads to a lot of chaos, obviously, in the minds, and then they end up becoming very violent and expressing their frustration in their head
They don't know how to vocalize.
because they can't vocalize. And so I think for me right now, as we're sitting here, and I've got 4 boys, one of the things that is very, very, very important for me as a father is to communicate with them.
Yeah.
I speak to my sons. I teach them masculine emotional language. I teach them how to say, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm confused, I don't know, and to accept that I don't know. And to know that if you don't know, the best intelligent thing you can ever do is ask.
Sure.
And that there's no shame in asking. And I think that these conversations, for me, more than anything, I want them to inspire men and young men to be okay with saying, Angas. I don't know, and it's okay for me to ask if I don't know. Because if we continue with that, with expecting men to know, just be a man.
Figure it out.
Figure it
Do
out.
you ever hear, just be a woman?
Plan.
Just be a woman. No. A woman sits down and the knowledge is passed down. But for us, it's like, you just got to figure it out. Just be a man about it. And
So when he plan.
then Tina, be a man means like I lock my jaws. Chest out, shoulders back, and then let me speak in the bass, and then I look in the eye. I'm being a man.
Sure.
What does it mean actually to be a man?
It's crazy, man.
And I think that's a very, very important question for us to answer in addressing what you've raised.
Our relationship with not knowing, man, that's big. That's big, man. Because I
That's
think
terrible.
that goes straight to the core of this ego that we're trying to protect. And that's why I'm like, that's why guys, whenever there's a group of men speaking on a particular topic and you don't know anything about it, you'll either leave or
You laugh a few times.
yes. You leave or you laugh a couple of times, bro. Yeah. But and I think what you're saying is like no guy will want to sit in the discomfort of not knowing, right?
Yeah,
and because that's that we don't know what to do with that discomfort, So I'm I don't know anything. One, I don't have the courage to say, but we'll just sit there and realize, man, this is uncomfortable. So let me and then you miss out on the opportunity of learning something. But I'm like, man, that's deeply lodged in us, and that's actually very detrimental, especially when it comes to marriage, because now you're building a life with somebody, and probably more than anything else that you've done in your life, this is where you're supposed to say, I don't know, when you don't know, because that's somebody's life, and if you have kids, those are other lives that you're responsible for, and this is probably the one time where if you're going to make the decision to be married, where you need to just raise your hands from the get-go and just say, okay, maybe let's slow down this process, your marriage counseling, because we can postpone, maybe wait another year. Let me sit with other men and just actually ask the questions. But we don't. What do you think the thing is, in fact?
I would want to start it at a level lasikona as a man, before we take it back to the young boy.
Sure.
And maybe what I'm going to say, it's going to address Utom, Zwane, and now Kuphela. But it's going to speak to any man who'll be watching this episode.
Sure.
Because the biggest problem with you, my brother, Uguti, you were taught how to be a man. You were taught how to be a strong man. You were taught how to be a provider and a protector before you were allowed to be a young, vulnerable boy. And that's where the biggest issue is. We understand. You were taught how to be strong. You were taught how to show up for other people. And you were never allowed to be a young boy who is vulnerable. You were not taught to be a young boy who is able to express themselves.
Sure.
That's why you were told, tigers don't cry. You understand? That's why you were taught to go out there, figure it out. You understand? While on the other hand, raising a female child is very different from raising a boy child. Right? Uzwane raises something very important here. You can find a young girl, 3, 2, udlala with a doll. Mana ngamphula isandla amkhipha isandla nje nopopi uzokhuzwa fast hey don't do that uzoba umama unjani ulimaza umntwana you understand and uzomuzwa athi akhishi nana amlungisa ambuyisele ne and then uyamteta manje uyamembrace yabona zonke lezo lezo and that's how they are taught to take care of their emotions, take care of their feelings. So you understand they are taught from a young age ukuthi if something is not okay with you, speak. Right? And they are taught that ngokulandelelwa. But when it comes to raising a boy child, nobody has patience for a boy child. We understand. Sure. A boy child walks in here, we are tetiswa. You know, a boy child can come back eskolweni dirty uniform. Immediately ayehle transporting angene endlini first thing first awubheka ungcole kanjani futhi babakho yeah we understand awubheka ukuthi ungcole kanjani but look at the girl child abuye angcolile right chances are when they jump out of the transport abona umamakhe they will first get a hug they are saying to her your presence is more important than what you look like. We understanding it. I am happy that you are home and I embrace you. And then they start fixing it to say, kwenzakaleni manje? Uzoba uBeyonce njani ukusakala. We understanding it. And then they're able to express themselves. Yabo? Bengidlala uzibanibani wangibamba rafu. Askisi mntanami. The biggest danger now becomes one. This child is prepared emotionally to talk about their feelings, to express their emotions, right? And they are going to marry a stone with no feelings, with no emotions, a stone that was taught to Gucci, don't cry, don't talk. We understand. That's why most of us, amachita, imedi yakho mfana ingakhala izibe nesibibithwane la I see this in my practice every day uhleli phambi kwefloor yakhe la iyakhala na ithishu phambi kwakhe nawo amanzi phambi kwakhe akamniki nokuthi uzothi thula phe mix
linda thula ukhala
izimele inkunzima la
lento thisekhaya
ukhala yeah
ndoda khulu
and imagine if you were not in the room when next question is manje ungakhala into encane kanje we understand that's where the biggest problem is.
Wow, man.
So as young boys we never got the opportunity to be taught how to be in touch with our feelings and our emotions. And by the time you start preparing for umshado, remember, amantombazana, they're emotional beings, right? And they're taught to take care of their emotions. And by nature, they're amplifiers, born. So whatever that is given to them, they amplify, right? Yeah. And even nomabadlala, they are not confined into the traditional ways of playing only, right? But when as a young boy, nabakuthengela amatheko bayokuthengela isibhamu nemoto. Isibhamu nemoto. And it ends there. We understand. But a young girl, bamthengela ama-puzzle, bamthengela yabona zonke anything that will stimulate ingqondo yakhe. We understand. They are preparing this child and they are overlooking this one, right? And this one naye kunama attachments athize adevelopayo psychological. Kunama attachment athize developed on this young girl. So most of the time you find ukuthi this young girl comes with a secured attachment, right? And they get to marry an avoidant attachment husband. You understand?
Everything.
Emotions overwhelms him. Once you say we need to talk, uvela sengenzeni. You understand?
Because
they
that's
shut
how
down.
he was treated.
That's how he was treated.
That's how he was treated.
You understand? You wanna say Powozala?
Sure.
You're in trouble.
And you're like, yo, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. So those triggers, zihlala zikhona all the time. But as we progress with our engagement, I think I shared this with you about what my daughter said to me. She's in grade 1. And so every Monday I drive her to school. Siyavaya lapha, and she says to me, Daddy, I have 2 boyfriends.
Yeah.
Out of the blue. I'm like, hi, when?
Oh,
I'm
ngingaphela.
like, hey.
Ngingaphela, Jet.
You have 2 boyfriends.
old.
You understand? You have 2 boyfriends. So angithi in my mind, I want to convince myself that you are sick. Boyfriend. And I say to her, okay, no problem. So you have girlfriends as well? She's like, no, I have boyfriends. No, not girlfriends. I'm like, hey, okay. Le nto ngathi serious ngabayo
Shall I take break?
uyazi ukuthi uthini, ne? And then she tells me ukuthi this one ufunda eColin Man, ngitshela igama lakhe ukuthi ubani bani, and this one yena ufunda kuphi yabona. This one is funny. Look at the difference, ne? This one is funny and this one is rich.
Yeah.
Aibo. Hey man, not.
Hey, DJ.
I'm like, yes. Yabona sengikhatha off i-conversation. Take my phone. Don't you want to watch YouTube? Yabo, sihambe ngimdrop off. A week later, ne? Develop a lento.
Yeah.
I want you to understand ukuthi lento le you don't teach them kahle. It's how you behave in front of them. It's what they see in front of them. Ne?
Sure.
This coming after 2 weeks, she says to me, Uzwe, now she's detailed.
Yeah.
When I turn 18, I'm going to marry my 2 boyfriends, and we're going to have a big house. And the other one, I'm going to be with him on weekends because we're gonna go out.
Inkinga serious.
You understand? She understands exactly
Once she
what
has
a
a
relationship
she has
is,
boyfriends.
what marriage, we understand.
Yeah.
And she knows what she's getting from that one, and she knows what she's going to get from that one. Unesthembu klaro. We understand. But the question now is, angithi problem here too, we want to deal with the fruits of the problem more than dealing with the roots of the problem. Right?
Yes, sir.
You find the same child.
Come on.
20 years later, 30 years later, she says, I hate marriage. I don't want to get married. I just want to have a life partner. I hate men. The question is, what happened? What did she see? What did she hear? Ilapho kinda.
Man, that's fire.
Sure.
Man. That's fire. And I think that gives us insights, again to where this thing starts. Because as you were speaking now, I'm like, the boy child, one, can be shouted at when he comes back home. But I think there's another side where he's neglected.
Yeah.
So not even engaged in ways that are unhealthy.
No.
Ufika ngcolile, sekafika ngcolile, unjalo vele lo. So there's not even a space to ask questions. Why are you dirty? Why do you do the things that you do? But instead, he's not engaged at all. So then he develops and thinks to himself, well, there's no need for me to talk about it because nobody ever asks me how I feel or what my opinion is, And that guy grows up just feeling so neglected that even by the time he thinks of getting married, he thinks that's the pattern.
Yeah.
I will provide. I will protect. But there's no my emotions are not a key tool in making this thing happen.
Yeah.
Don't you need a house? I need a house.
Yeah.
Don't your kids? Yeah. But I don't need to be engaged.
And that is the extent of my value in my ecosystem. Because
Yes.
that's what I've been told.
Yes.
I'm just supposed to bring what is supposed to be brought.
Yeah.
And that's that's adequate.
Yeah.
Except today we're having an issue where we know that there's not adequate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the question that you start asking yourself as a man, I remember I struggled with this myself, was that after all of that neglect, do I really matter to anybody? And it's one of the questions that I take even couples through whenever I do premarital counseling. 5 questions. Do I matter? To whom do I matter? For what do I matter? Is that how I want to matter? And should I change it? Sure. You know what I mean? And this has became a very big issue for me. Is that how I want to matter? And I realized, no, but I don't just want to matter for the fact that I'm bringing the money. In fact, even as a pastor, I was starting to get very frustrated. I can't just matter for just bringing the word and encouraging people and making everybody feel amazing, especially in times where I needed some kind of attention myself. And then should I change that? And this is where it really gets very difficult, because like, what do I change it to? What does it look like? What is it, this thing that I'm looking for that I want to change it into? I have no point of
There's
reference.
no point of reference.
Yeah.
I don't. But what helped me though was these men that I met later on in my life that came from health environment that said to me, I remember my pastor, he's the one that taught me presentation. But one time was my girlfriend's, before I got married at the time, it was her birthday, and I bought her this teddy bear, but I was going to just give her the whole thing like, hey, there you go, baby.
Bambala.
He says to me, yo, jabs. He says to me, jabs.
What are you doing?
Presentation, man. What was that? And then from then going forward, he's the man that taught me the importance of, like, men's cologne is more than just about, smelling good. But it says a lot about how you want yourself to be valued.
Sure.
He's the man that taught me how to really always be mindful how I present myself in public. Back before that, it was mainly from a point of, shy fashion, not being fashionable. But I understood it speaks a lot more to who I am as a person, even the way that I dress and the way that I present myself forward. But these are conversations that I had in my early 20s. I didn't have these conversations when I was a lot younger. Earlier on, benginto. Like you were doing names, especially if you are many of us who grew up without. What we don't talk about is the pandemic of growing up without both your mother and your father, even though both of them are alive. And I was one of those who didn't
Raised
have
by the grandparents,
by the grandfather of all people, not even the grandmother, because the grandmother passed away. So you can imagine the level of neglect
Man.
that comes with that, where you have to do something to get some kind of attention. Hey guys, I exist.
Sometimes it's bad things that you're doing.
Look, it's
get that
even
attention.
bad things to get that attention. In my case, I was afraid because he's the old man could have whipped. Hey, that man had spy was like one of those one of those woven leather whips. He was fast too. So I was afraid of doing that. But I remember this, and I've shared this many times, that after 18 years, at my age 18, when I left school, I just came to Joburg looking for work.
Yeah.
I lived in abandoned buildings. Nobody knew where I was. I could have literally died.
Sure.
And nobody would know where I was. My mother didn't know where I was. My father didn't know where I was. None of my relatives knew where I was. Man. I was living there, and I had this friend of mine who was a security guard. He was shy pushback.
Yeah.
And the dude was a security guard with 2 guns. Just fresh out of jail. And this guy,
He's like, oh God, this friend of mine.
this guy, I call him my friend. He's so good. I'm a Free State boy in Joburg, and Joburg guys are gonna swallow me. And he decided to be my guard.
Yeah.
I remember like walking like Alex.
Yeah.
Kept on showing them. Ngam tint, with the gun. Ngam tint over, and I felt like protected and scared. I was so scared of this brother. When I left,
He's scared of the pushback.
I was afraid of him. When I left, I didn't tell him. I was like, just now he thinks he owns me. I'm like, yo. I'm not telling this nigga. I escaped.
Project Jabu.
I just left that price. I escaped. But do you understand just the level of neglect?
Yeah.
And then now you get a father. Then I become a father, and then I'm overcompensating. And in my mind, I'm thinking my sons will never experience what I experienced. But in that process, though, I started to realize something, that there are many lessons that I learned in my hardship that are good. Bad as things are, they were good. And how can I pass those on to my kids?
Yes, sir.
And that's why I started having then conversations with them.
Sure.
about, hey,
Sure.
don't be fooled by the twang.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Mbuya kude,
Your
ja.
brother comes from serious hardship,
Yeah.
I've been with a guy who was in jail. Push back.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. Two things I wanna touch on, like as you were chatting. One, I'm still fascinated by like where this mentality that girls have comes from.
Yeah.
Because I went to school, primary school, and if she watches this, I saw Raquel. So, but I went,
90s.
yeah, I went to primary school with this girl named Shirley, right?
Surely.
Bro, that chick was we in primary school. She was the cleanest girl in the whole school.
Yeah.
After school, she would go into the bathroom and freshen up. Primary school.
Yeah.
Primary. You know? Mina ngumjulu.
Langa nomjuzi.
Oh, mfethu ikawusi liyayehla, icathulo sidabukile jo, itayihleli yi. But before we leave, Shirley mfethu would, because I distinctly remember katana Vaselina futhi jo. Ethi Vaselina. Phela Vaselina mina ngibone lokushini jo. Primary
Stop that.
Vaselina.
Mfethu stop that.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. Marato, yabo uyazilungisa. And I was like, man, like, and that thing has never left my mind, So now as you're talking, I'm like, but I wonder where that thing comes. Because we're in primary school. Where does that come from? That she would look after herself the way she did? Is it probably that she was groomed to do that? And if that's the case, like, why don't I pick that up? Because I saw it. Why didn't that speak to me as a young boy to say, "Ana meeting is lungi secho."
Okay.
Let me learn, nyana,
Yeah.
Because clearly Shirley has things.
His
boot, and I'm like, well, yeah,
Yeah.
So that's one, and maybe you could touch on that. But then after that, when did you guys wake up to the reality that yung is fagile mshadweni jo, angazi nix, and I'm here now, yeah.
Okay. I want us to look at the flip side of Usheli. Ne? Maybe the psychology behind behavior kaSheli.
Sure.
Ne? Ungathola ukuthi uSheli growing up, she was a parentified child. And as a parentified child, you are taught and groomed to do everything, right? To the T. Ne? You are taught to wash after yourself, you clean after yourself, you take care of others all the time.
Sure.
We understand. Ne? And it doesn't matter ukuthi umncane kangakanani. And your parents are so proud of you to a point ukuthi they can even brag about you and say, mina umntwana uyakwazi ukuwasha uyapheka umbona ngaka nje. We understand. And they feel ukuthi they did a great job in doing that. We understand. And so you find ukuthi it is difficult for her to be a child because she was groomed kahle kahle to be an adult, right? So she wants to live up to the expectation of always being clean, always being on point. You understand? When she comes back home, uyawazi amachozi wakhe, kumele ngiyofrefa isitubhu, kumele ngenze lokhu, kumele ngenze lokhu, right? And the problem ukuthi as akhula lo muntu, uthola ukuthi they become hyper independent. And they struggle a lot with asking for usizo. Even when they're emotionally drained, they can't say I inyahluleka. We understand. Yeah, they had to make a plan for themselves. We understand. And you find ukuthi abanye, the biggest problem ukuthi she's raised maybe by a single parent, umama sekayagula. And now she needs to take care of umama. She needs to cover isimo sasekhaya by looking good eskoleni, right? And the biggest problem as well, ukuthi a lot of those kids were looking so good and neat and all of that. Their parents were doing a lot of trauma dumping on them. We understand. Uthola umuntu athi mina nginayo umngane wami umntanami. I confide in her. Umtshela izinto angekho fully develop ukuthi azizwe.
Sure.
They become your friend. We understand. And the dangers, yilezi esizozibona sesizibona emshadweni.
Yeah. Shucks, man.
Hey, you deep, man.
That went.
Yeah.
I mean, it went there. Like, wow.
I'm like, maybe
whoa.
Nami.
Yeah,
I'm
parentified time.
Yeah. Myself, like,
I'm like, maybe Ngumucho.
Yeah.
You know?
Main version.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. That's something to to consider and look at, man. And I think that's a good conversation to have with yourself.
Yeah.
Now, as you look at the state of your marriage and where you are, yeah, and maybe that does lead us to that question I asked, man. If you look at your early stages of marriage, where did you, and when did you realize that yes, yeah, I'm either, I carried the burden of being a parent too young. I went into marriage thinking it's going to be a certain way because I've been parentified. And now I'm like, hey, I don't know anything here. I need, what even woke you up to that, or realizing that, fun, I don't have the tools. I thought I did. I did premarital, sakhuluma, and the all of us, yes, sakhuluma, bafethu.
Yeah.
Ngaprata.
Cancel.
Yeah.
Cancel therapist. I said, see marriage.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe you should have said this.
Yeah. For me, it happened the first week after honeymoon. Well,
After
young
honeymoon.
la.
Why not?
Wow, that was
I'm wondering
good.
why not during the honeymoon?
No, because honeymoon was nice.
Oh, you were just cruising nice.
Yeah, and the thing with honeymoon, you're outside of your normal routine, and so in some at some level, what you were on honeymoon,
Yeah.
but you think this is how marriage is gonna be.
Oh, yeah.
We wake up, sex is constant.
Dog.
You don't have to cook. No one is worried about
buffet,
chores because we're being cared for, And then we came back first week. Washu bacho. Zakala, Joe. And for me, that was the first and last time my wife walked out. And now that's traumatic because this is like
at the beginning of the
beginning.
the framing of the whole
Not
thing.
even the beginning, 1 week in.
Yeah.
How was it?
Yeah.
Not even a month in.
Bear in mind, I've never seen a black woman leave.
Now she picks it back though.
Ever. No, she didn't pack her back.
Oh,
She
she's
just
like,
got
I'm
in the
just
car.
gonna leave it. Oh.
She didn't even say she's leaving.
Oh, she just
Oh,
walked
don't
out.
get him up to it. Mina ngizokhala bathi. Ngalocheria vibe. Locheria
Vela
vibe.
ngifasta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, ngine pride.
Yeah.
I'm talking for him.
Magabaza. You know?
Yeah.
But it's in that moment, bro, when like just the reality of what this thing is, like set in with it. Okay, so Nintwana one, I'm 25. My wife just walked out. Who am I gonna call? Okay, maybe I call the guys at church. Maranyoti njo. Froyaki violin. Yabo? Okay, maybe I'll call my mother. Ole lamzo velelit. When? Can't call her mom. So I just waited, man. But I think that's when, for me, the reality kicked in. Do I even know what I'm doing here? Like, And we argued over the Bible. So, I think it's something worth arguing over. Wasn't even anything like hectic. No one was cheating. No one was stealing money. But
So what made it to leave the house? We're arguing over the Bible.
yeah. And mind you, I'm
deep.
supposed to be the spiritual head of this household.
Yeah.
Supposed to come with Chronos. Deep revelations.
It's in the creek.
What's next?
Dichotomized the way.
Hey!
The exegesis.
Yeah, well,
The word is supposed to chase the demons, not the wife.
exactly. So now that's traumatic because I'm like, this is right. This is a good thing that's supposed to happen. I'm taking leadership. But man, I fell flat on my face, and that thing was so traumatic. I only spoke about it with my wife 9 years into our marriage.
Sure.
That night, 9 years later,
To say, remember,
and it would come up, over the years. But like to actually sit down and dissect that thing and open it up 9 years later, So I'm like, by God's grace, determination, man, we kept going. That thing didn't break us. But for most guys, they don't survive,
Yeah.
When did that reality set for you guys?
I'm sitting here and I was trying to figure out where what was my moment.
Yeah.
And there's one incident I can think about. I think about 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. So my wife and I were having not an argument, but an intense fellowship.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now.
I need to tell you we are born again. Still, we don't argue, we fellowship intensely.
Intense.
With words. But we were having a conversation, and I think it had to do with family dynamics and all of that, like our families, like her family, my family, and stuff like that. Imagine, I mean, it's not even about us, like family dynamics, how to navigate that. And I'm just like, as a man, I'm just like putting my points. This is what I expect. I think in my mind, I'd expected her to be like, okay, Baba, yeah, Baba, asitubeke, mhlalukwana, Baba Ntuli. No, she just, then she comes out strong. She voices out concerns. She becomes assertive. No, I don't think this, I think that. And I was not ready for that confrontation. I was not ready for that. You understand? That's when I realized, I'm not well capacitated for this. Because then it became so intense. And then it moved from the family thing to us now. Right? Hey, don't respect me. Hey. And I realized that, and it was bad, so bad that for the first time in our marriage, I was like to my wife, listen, mina ngizogidla esofeni, mina ngizolala.
Was Fargus so?
Ngizohlala esofeni. Mina ngizolala wena vayolala in the bedroom. And she sends me a text. She's like, oh, are we there now? I like, oh, are we sis? Because more lale sofeni it's gonna solele Karin. Lale Karin. Gonna
hotel.
So lale Centurion. You understand? Wow. And when she said to me, are we there now? And then I realized, it's I was not ready for this. I was not well capacitated. I thought that, as a man, because I'm a leader, it's my word or the highway.
Yes.
It's not ready for a woman that can question some of the decisions or some of the things you say.
Which she
should, And she says, but because she's my helper.
Yeah. Sure.
She's supposed to.
She's supposed to fill in the gaps.
Yeah, she can't just say yes to everything, and then the next thing we are getting into the teachers like, Baba's again. If I say we are going to swim, she's gonna ask me, do you know how to swim?
Yeah.
If you see me jumping,
do you have my life jacket?
You don't know how to swim. Kulele mkungundo. You understand? It's those kind of things. But I was not ready for that, and it hit me hard. It hit me hard. She and I had conversations very intense. Like it was like then very awkward in the house for a couple of days and stuff like that. But that's when I realized, and then I remember later on saying to her, she is blessed in a sense that, like, I would come back home and I would find my wife on the phone with her mom, either her mom or his sister or somebody else. But she's always talking to some female figure in her life. Whether they're talking about makeup or perfume or roilep, whatever but there is a conversation
going on,
with somebody else. She can talk about her day. She can talk about what's happening, this, that, and the other. I had a very stressful day. I have no one that I'm either having a conversation with on my way to Endlini, Mangfika Endlini, I have not debriefed. I have not spoken to Black, about my frustrations as Spani. Mfika Endlini, I'm frustrated. And the next thing later on, something nice. Angiye nokunghiya kube wathi jo. Angitshela ukuthi her back is what vele ngikwate kakhulu personal vele ngivela ungifuni wena
Sheesh, bro.
Yeah, it's rough.
That's wild, man.
Yeah, man.
For you guys?
Let me start by identifying a couple of things before I share my own personal journey.
Sure.
Hey family, it's that time again. Beans and Bonds is back on Saturday, the 27th of September, right here at Christchurch Midrand. We are gathering people who care about building healthy marriages and relationships. Let me say that again, it's for everybody. So make sure that you are pulling through. Our theme this time is provision and the price we pay as men. Because whether you are a husband, a wife, or you are preparing for marriage, you know the weight of providing, putting food on the table, creating security, chasing success, and sometimes sacrificing yourself in the process. But man, there should be a healthier way, a godlier way. we have assembled a powerful lineup to help us wrestle with this topic. Our guest of honor is none other than the modern Mkwenyana, Sean Mahlangu. He will be in the room. And we are bringing back my wife, your friend, Lily Million. She's going to join us. Doors open at 9:30 and we start sharply at 10 to finish at 1 p.m. But there's something special happening at 8 o'clock. Before the main session, my wife and I will be hosting an intimate breakfast just for 20 people. Man, this is a chance for us to sit together, share stories, dig a little bit deeper. So remember, space is limited, so book your seat right now. This morning is about equipping ourselves, strengthening our homes, and finding wisdom on the journey of marriage. Don't carry the weight alone. Come through, invite a friend, and let us build together. Beans and bonds. See you then. All right, peace.
For you guys,
Let me start by identifying a couple of things before I share my own personal journey.
sure.
I believe Uguti, love is something that is very strong. Ne? And as strong as it is, as powerful as love is, but love does not exist in a vacuum.
Yes, sir.
Ne? Love exists in a culture. Love exists in psychology. Yabo? And love exists in a community.
Sure.
And those elements, they form and shape the blueprint of who you are.
Man.
Right? Because zonke lezi zinto lezi goes back to what you were observing. Yabona? And that becomes your blueprint. And fast forward when I saw Trowile, but uza ne blueprint horrible. Better.
Straight up.
Better, yeah, better blueprint yakho. Uyayithola,
And
ne?
we pay it,
And then we phethe and ushow ukuthi ubambe yona. Right? And you get into marriage and then you start projecting. Kancane kancane. Yes. Umphetho wakho. Uyangithola, ne? Umphetho wakho. Right.
Personality.
So these two things became a big problem for me. Ne? And they are linked to a blueprint. Number one, it was a big struggle for me from adjusting from individualism to be a family man. Before I got married, I stayed alone for 18 full years.
Man.
Right? Alone.
Man.
No friend, because there were a lot of rejection in my upbringing and all of these things. Ne?
Sure.
I got into a space like, but I function well alone. Ne? And we could be sitting here and I can just walk out. Yabo? Ngiyohlala emotweni. And kube ngathi ngiyangikhinya and angikhinya. Right? Kuvuke le nto ukuthi I just want to go.
Yeah, sure.
Uyangithola, ne?
Sure.
Yeah. And that thing became a problem for me because for the longest time, I was alone. I was not reporting to anyone. I was not talking to anyone.
Yep.
In and out.
Yep.
I was depressed at some point. So the room would be just dark.
One man.
One man. Yeah. And everything was normal.
Inkomo
Yeah. Angifuni bangijwayele lapho. Angifuni bangijwayele lapho. Ushuthi ongavela ngefasteri ubona amehlo nje kuphela. Inkinga lesasikhathi bewayelo namazinyo beyongena bona. Now the biggest problem is sekunabantu engibalande la bebakhona ngabaletha in my own space. Ngimlandile unkosikazi kubo. Uyangithola ngithi omunye bekahleli kuphi le emazulwini ngamlanda khona abantwana ngithi sengibalandile, all of them are here.
Man.
And I'm overwhelmed by their presence. Uyangithola ne? So what I will normally do is I would come back from Ispanini, Ntuli family hleli, they're happy, they're waiting for me and all of that. And then ngizofika ngihlale nabo, banginikeza ukudla, you know. Just talk for 2 minutes and I walk away, I go to the bedroom. And you'll think I'm tired, you'll think I'm on the phone, and I'll just lie there alone. The entire family ihleli ilinde mina. They've been waiting for me the whole day. Ngihleli ngiyi-one lapha ebumnyameni. And my wife will come in the room and say, "Oh, you know right?" No, you're right. I want, uzohlala nathi. okay ngiyeza but ngiyazidraga kuyo nifuna ukuhlala nami ini for what
Nginenzeni?
yini ayikho TV la endlini nanibukela TV andlanga ngibukela mina manje nina ninama toys yini into enganithengeli yona understand nene the blueprint engibambe ngama-washing we understand nene?
Sure.
Here's the biggest danger again. The second thing that was a problem, it was a problem for me to deal with my own childhood traumas because I was now, remember, trauma does not die. Trauma gets transferred to through our actions, through our conduct and all of that. So all these traumatic experiences engibe nazo, engadilanga nazo, they did not die, and now I was transferring them to my kids. I was transferring them to my wife. You understand? And one of the biggest problems that I had is observing my wife being nice to our kids. Where is would sound crazy? Yeah, being nice to our kids. Why are you doing that?
I can understand.
Yeah, serious. I'm a cool dula mina. Very deep. Yeah. Why are you doing that?
Yeah,
So you understand?
I get that.
I would go crazy listening to my son says to my wife, can I have that juice? Can I have that steak? And I said, yeah, no, go ahead. And he's like, yes. And I'm angry. But
These are your kids.
These are my kids, Baba. This is my house. This is my wife. And I'm the one who's buying the grocery. Right, ne? But up until I needed to revisit my crime scene, my psychology crime scene. Uguti, what happened to me?
Come on.
Ngalimala kuphi? We understand?
Yeah.
And I realized, hey son, konje mina la ngikhulele khona, asking for food was a punishable sin.
Yes.
It was a punishable sin.
Set up for it.
Yeah, we understand? Yeah. So and my mom was worse, ne? Mawuzothi ngicela isinkwa athi awunagama. Uthi nginalo igama athi uma ngizokunikeza ngizokubiza ngegama. So mangakakubizi it's not yours. Mangakakubiza utholi nix. Wena ulambile or awulambanga. We understand ne? Yes. Deep. The question is noma yini ongathi ngicela ini.
And you don't even know ukuthi yaphi le mbuzo lo.
Yeah, lo mbuzo awazi ukuthi uya. Yeah. Yabona awunagama na. Uthi nginalo. Yeah.
Even me sitting here. I'm like,
traumatized. Yeah, uyangithola ne. Bese uthi anginalo igama. Athi ngizokubiza ngegama.
Should the palon uzoyithola maka
Uzoyithola mase ngithi uzothola ipaloni. We understand ne. And angithi the inner wounded child in me needs to be saved and embraced, ne?
Yes.
And then here is my son saying, "Can I have that snack?" I'm like, "Yeah, when So I needed to work on myself. I needed to heal all of that so that I can be a better father, so that I can embrace my kids, so that I can be a great husband. But that journey is not an easy journey. That journey is not a journey ongazidlulisa kuyo wena. You need us here to assist you.
Come on, man.
Yes. Yeah.
Aye, bro.
No,
He's taking me back. I mean, look, you and I can sit here and actually compare notes because, I'm there with you. No, I'm there with him. No, I'm there with him, but you know, being called Mkodoi. I'm there with him.
Yeah.
You know? And then the worst part, I grew up with Basotho as Zwane.
Oops, man.
You know what I'm saying? The tribalism thing.
Yeah.
Something goes wrong. Kill Kotali.
Yeah.
Like I'm not even closer. Like Kotali. And then the trauma of my dad also being mentally unwell. You know, the association. But anyway, but I can sit. Let me tell you about my story. 2, because I got married twice. First wife passed away. With my first wife, it was quite interesting because we dated for 5 years. I met her at university, and we dated for quite some time. And she used to complain, Mfethu, talk to me. And I'd be like, but I'm talking, you know, I'm a twanger, man. Come on, baby, we're talking all day. I'm talking to you, dog. You talk about, you know. And now we get married, and in our marriage, I remember this very distinctly. 4 years in our marriage, in our nice house, you know, living the South African dream. 2 houses, 2 cars in the garage, 2 kids. And then one time we're watching TV, and I'm sitting on a couch, but I'm sitting with one half of my butt on the couch and the other one off. And I was almost like literally I was getting this conversation with God saying, why do you always sit like that? Why are you always sitting on your own couch with half your bum on and half your bum off? And I realized that I'm ready to either go or ready for her to leave. So I never owned the life, because I grew up just like you, not owning stuff.
Yeah.
Like nothing was yours. And if you try to say anything was yours, I mean, you can be sure something is yours, but it can be taken away from you at any given moment. So there's a part of me where I had developed a detachment from things. So even the beautiful things. And it wasn't really registering in my mind that this person loves me. And there was always a part of me that's thinking, she's going to leave at some point.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? And it has to do with the fact that my mother didn't raise me. One time she came, and then we went, I remember she came after she remarried to my stepfather. And I was so excited because she came to fetch me to go and stay with her. And I was supposed to start up A back then. I mean, back in the day, grade one for you
Yeah,
young
so-
ones.
yeah.
You know,
I'm
grade one.
80s.
Kemba was a grade.
You know, so I get to this beautiful place. You know, it was in Smoking. I'm coming from 3 states. So Smoking back then was like beautiful, man. And there were these guys, these Eskom houses, you know, those company houses. Beautiful, tar road, everything. I'm there, I'm staying, it's beautiful, I'm excited. A couple of days later, I'm on a taxi back home.
Wait, you landed, you tasted the glory?
And
I'm
then,
on,
like,
the,
the
I'm on the
glory is
taxi
not
back
yours.
home by myself.
Yo, they're not even driving you back.
They're not even not taking me back, no.
Dang it, bro.
I'm on my, and then the next day, I'm at school. No school uniform. And I'm just by myself, no lunch.
Dang it.
My cousin who I was growing up with, he's got his lunch and he's got his, you know, they had those caftines, you know, those red ones with a little bottle,
Juice
red.
bottle, yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? He's
yeah.
got those things. Everything's ready for
The
him.
ones that leak after 2 weeks.
Exactly, you know. But
potato
me now, I got nothing.
Sink
It wasn't the fault of the aunt. I mean, she didn't know I was coming.
She didn't know, yeah, sure.
You know, but you can imagine the trauma. I'm taking a bath. Here's this guy. He's got his food and he's got stuff, and I'm by myself. That day, and I get there, and remember, I'm this son of this crazy man, and this teacher knows this, and that's the first thing she does, like mocking me about this whole thing. You can imagine that. Like, imagine that whole trauma. So I developed a detachment to things that I never took ownership of my stuff.
Yeah.
Like, even though all of that was my beautiful life, it never registered. And I realized, and I looked at her, and part of me understood the frustration she's been having. Which I'm here, but I'm not here. I'm ready for this to end at any
Anytime.
moment. At any moment, it can end.
And therefore, you're not invested in it emotionally. You're not.
Here's the thing. Because of my rejection issue and laboring for love, of course I would labor. I'm a people pleaser. Of course, I mean, I'm a very, I'm pleasing. I'm working for this love. So in my mind, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But she could see through me, like, you're not here. You're not here for the
You're
right
just dancing.
things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I get it. And I find out and I discover this woman is funny, man. She's hilarious. And I really have the most incredible marriage with her up until, of course, she passed away. But my second marriage, different. I'm now with someone that I liked in high school, that I grew up with. As a matter of fact, whenever I used to have those stunts of not having food, I used to go to her house and eat because her brother was my friend.
Hey, what is wrong? Not having food is stunt.
Yeah, it's a stunt.
Oh, it's a stunt.
Those stunts.
You see what ngizofunda la bafana.
Awunakudla mara.
Yeah,
Yeah, put it in
yeah.
stunt.
Yeah, but
Nkosikazi manga ngiphakela don't stunt me like that. Don't stunt me like that. Ngiyafunda la, yeah. Yeah.
shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out.
I love it. But anyway, and so I liked her in high school, and part of the reason why I never approached her were two. Number one, I didn't think I was good enough.
Yeah.
Because I mean, she came from a good family. And you know, now you're ugly, you're this, you're this. I mean, there's nothing qualifies you to be with this person.
Will you toss her?
You know, you cost. You don't even
Yeah.
have a background at the end of the day. I mean, you're wearing her brother's pants for school and all of that. You know, this is like terrible stuff. But Manji, after, I meet her after the passing of my first wife. I say, Jabu Zwane much. I've been to America.
Get you now.
Malik
I'm
Yoba.
international.
Hey,
From zero to hero.
Come on.
I'm international. But here's the problem. She's from that time where I was nothing.
Yeah.
So there's a part of me that wants to show her, which no.
You're something now.
I'm not that dude now, man. Look who's around me. Americans are coming to our home. I know white people now.
Now I'm saying.
Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm look at the people around me, baby.
Yeah.
I made it. And she's not impressed.
Yeah.
This bothered me.
And it hurts you now.
She ain't move, yo. I'm like,
Nothing.
where's
not
my
an
hand
inch.
slap, woman?
Not
Yeah.
an inch.
Where's
Applause,
my
bro.
hand clap?
Yeah.
I go out there, Mr. International. Hey, I come to the stage, they play music, and everybody's like, and I get home.
She's just like,
She's
And-
not
and then?
asking me how it was. She asked me a little bit, but it's like, oh, okay, baby.
Sure.
but she's not a fan. She's
I'm
like,
waiting for her to be, to validate that thing that I thought I was missing when I was still a kid. Because she comes from that time with me. I was triggered to heck. And remember, this time, I've been a pastor for a couple of years. I have counseled many marriages. I have been counseled myself. I mean, I speak about these things, but here I am, and I'm struggling. I'm struggling with
Crazy.
just realizing that, dude, you don't have to labor for love.
Yeah.
And I wanted them to show with your kids. That's what happens. Like for us who grew up without love, we can be so jealous
Yeah.
of how people that have been loved well just bali lutan.
Yeah.
They eat
And
love,
they
love
move in
nicely.
confidence.
They move in confidence. And then when I understand, why you reciprocate?
Yeah.
Where's the reciprocation? But people who have been loved well understand that, I'm worthy of love. And love is to be received and to be enjoyed.
Yeah.
And it is not something that you do as a transaction.
yes, sir.
It is something that you do actually voluntarily. The power of love is in that voluntary action of giving to someone without expecting anything in return,
Yes, sir.
which I didn't learn. And my wife, on the other hand, comes from a very stable family where she's loved and she's adored. And she expects lezinto mina ngishaye is performance. Mina ngiyaperforma.
Football. Shine. That's why I feel perform manje. So
Yeah, boy, ufuna isandla, boy.
Yeah.
Boy, now, ushaye kahle, I'm not, but I'm not getting that, And I realized there's a lot of growing that I had to do.
Yeah.
Nothing. My first marriage challenged me, but my second, guys, challenged me to that max. Because it really forced me to go back. It was almost like in my first marriage, I was hiding. I could be this person. I could be this persona that I had created because she had no understanding
No
of where I
history.
came from, no history of who I was. And I could be Jabu Zwane. And this is the reason I'm mentioning this is because growing up, I was never called Jabu. It's called Jablani. I was saying Jablan. It wasn't Jablan, I was never called Jabu because Jabu was a short name, as a term of endearment. So nobody in my family ever referred to me in a very endearing way. Yabon, but mangifika eJozi singuJabu manje. Yabon. AwuJabu manje. I
Gave you that name. Is it le Grootman Lakkel ne push
I'm
back?
everywhere I went, Jabu.
Yeah.
There was a lot of endearment, and I sort of owned that. But I realized though that I was still performing to that. I still performing to that, and I think my current marriage now, as far as my growth as a human being, it has really done a lot in terms of really making me grow, and really making me deal with that boy, with that little kid, and realizing that I don't need my wife to validate me.
Sure.
I need to heal.
Sure.
I need God to touch me. I need God to heal me.
Come on now.
I need to see who I am now and own it.
Yeah.
Because you know what the worst part about these guys, ne? I didn't look after my stuff because of I never took ownership. I didn't look after my stuff. I didn't look after my cars. I didn't look after my house. Because you develop this detachment and you play this thing in your mind, and some of the guys maybe listening to this, and you must, listen to me very carefully. The moment you start to have this mindset in your mind where you start to devalue the assets you've got. Imali is nothing, man. Just give away money. Impahla. You could come here and say, "Oh, nice shoes." You know, I would take them off right now and give them to you. But now, hi, man. I would just take them off. Nice watches. I'd travel to the US. I'd come with nice stuff, nice gear, everything. I'd just give it away. My husband would be like, "Dude, what happened to that nice top?"
Yeah.
Well, I gave it away. And she said to me, "Dude, no more giving stuff away without first talking to me." And the funny thing is that there was a warning from both my first and my second wife. Same thing. It took me a long time to figure that I need to be okay with the fact that I am who I am now. I've always been. Just because I was dismissed as a kid and it was never seen doesn't mean that I never was.
Yeah.
And I can never go back and know what that is like, to be loved by mother, to be loved by father, to be cared for by aunts and whatever.
Yeah.
I may never know what that is like. But I need to learn how to receive love now, even in my old age.
Sure.
And it's a continuous, it's a constant process.
Yeah, that's good.
Sure.
Man. That's good.
You know, what you are saying, especially the part Uguchi, I could not even take care of my own things. And unale feeling yoguchi ngizoyiluza nini.
Just waiting.
You know, the biggest thing about unhealed traumas, ne? They have a capacity of stealing your joy, and you don't get to experience abantu at their best. Right? Because in trauma, there comes a time like trauma starts speaking to you. Right? And it says, observe. That's why abantu with unhealed traumas, they are very hyper vigilant. Ne? Mamehlo man. Yeah. Very quick. Ne? And you know, umuntu hyper vigilant can walk in this room and just say, yini ungibhekani? Ngiyakubona ufuna ukukhuluma, khuluma, ufuna ukuthini? Ufuna ukuthini? Nikhuluma ngami. Ngangena nathula. Like ndoda. Busy. Kasinande ndaba nawo. Yeah, we understand.
We didn't even know you.
Nibhekele t-shirt. Yeah, green again. Ufuna ukuthini? We understand. Hyper vigilant. Trauma, Angithi trauma says to you, watch and observe. And you start looking in the room.
You look for
And the
danger.
trauma, and it says to you, the second layer, it says, adopt safety measures to try and minimize the risk. Ushayimpa amaqala manje. We understand. But there's this element engingabanayo mina, ne? Where you get to a space la you find it difficult to let go of certain things. You hold on to things. Mawungavula igarage la kugcwele yonke inyakanyaka.
We are hoarder.
Yeah, we are hoarding. And umbuzo uthi le microwave uyibekeleni lapha. Ayisasebenzi in 10 years. We understand. And ugogo wami wathi nakaqeda ukulotsholwa balethe inkomo bamnikeza bebayifake phakathi kwekist. We understand. Right? For a very long time, I had this fridge ebenginayo in my house. Leya fridge leya namfowethu angazi ngilungiseka ngakhe. Ife, ne? And I would call someone by request. Yabona iphele nini ayisasebenzi nini iyachoka mawuyibamba. You understand?
Because I didn't really go eat that too.
Yeah, me go eat. Need you understand? My wife should say, "Ska to renovate. Can we not lahla the
Renovation and free.
Lalela la sizoyithenga i-double door fridge bena left
But
fridge
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Leave that fridge.
Yeah.
You understand? And
Nongcwaba
then I look back, I'm like, oh, le fridge ngayithenga at the lowest point empilweni yami. You understand? And I think I used to earn around 300 rands. Mangithenga le fridge. Yabona? So, yeah. Like ngayijulukela le fridge. Iyangikhumbuza ne. But the biggest problem mangithi the unhealed trauma yenza ukuthi kube difficult for you to experience abantu at their best. Ne? You know, I can easily identify some traumas by indlela olala ngayo in your own bed.
way.
Yeah. ukuthi ulala ubheke kuphi, ulalela ngakuphi embhedeni, ulala le egcineni, ulala at the center yombhede. Uyangithola? I can be able to pick up certain patterns like to say, hey, kunenkinga la. Uyangithola ne? So most of the time, there was a time la I was obsessed with buying king size bed. That's all I wanted to do.
Sure.
And it had nothing to do with my size. Yeah. Then fully king size bed. At some point, umbhede wami had about 15 pillows.
Insane.
Yeah. A4 emincane, A5 elandelayo, emikhulu ama-continental 15. We understand, man.
2/3 of
Yeah.
umbhede
And my
wonke.
partner then, would always ask me, obsessed ngombhede wakho? And I'm like, no, umbhede kumele ube neat.
Yeah.
Bengondlula ubhede ngime emnyango ngubheke
Ubheke,
kanje,
sure.
no man, yabona ngilungisikile
Ngathi sewotela.
yeah, nokufuneka enye pillow and I'm coming back with other pillows. You understand, ne? And years later I realized ukuthi I was trying to reparent myself. Because growing up ngikhule ngilala phansi on the kitchen floor.
I said,
ne?
come on, man.
And sleeping on the kitchen floor, I had no pillow, but bengiqamela ngesandla.
Exactly.
Uyangithola, ne?
Yep.
So I am trying to make up for the past, and now I'm stuck in that past because I don't understand what I'm trying to heal. Right? And the crazy thing, ukuthi le miqamelo 825, mase ngizolala, I stack them there and ngithatha oyi-1. Ne? And then now lo yi-1 ngizolala ngawo for 2 minutes and then ngizibuyele enqindini yami.
Which one?
Ngila. But the problem was not the pillows, the issue was here. I needed to deal with this.
Sure.
Unhealed traumas. Dangerous.
No, that's crazy, man.
With that in mind, on that note, how did you guys, pun intended, how did you wake up to your unhealed traumas? How did you wake up to, when you were squabbling with your wife and you realized, I'm not capacitated to handle a woman like this? When was the moment where you were like, no, I need help, or I am who I am now because of all of these things? It took you 2 marriages to wake up. When was that moment, and what led to that woke you up?
A quick one for me. I think it's exactly this, that I realized that actually I was jealous at how much my wife was enjoying my love. I didn't
But you're
like
the
it.
one giving the love.
No, I didn't like the way that she just like some very I had
Songithatha kanje ke. Yeah.
Bekahla ishaya ifomu. Mina I'm laboring. I was exhausted. Mina ngiyalabora nje ngisho ukuthi lo muntu ngiyamchama. Why she's just like enjoying everything without needing anything in return? And then I realized, it really took me back to the messages that I normally preach every year on love, God's love. That God's love, agape, is that, first of all, it's unconditional. Secondly, it's self-sacrificial. And it is given in the interest of the giver.
Yeah.
Like love is given in the interest of the giver. Like when a man approaches a woman, that's why this thing of, what do you bring to the table is such a dumb thing for a man to ask, honestly. It's because when I'm approaching a woman, I have a love inside of me that I want to give her.
Yes.
Right? And there's something in her that is worthy of love that I want to satisfy this thirst in me. Right? By giving her that love, I satisfy that. Right?
Sure.
Same thing as what it says about God, that God's love is given in his own interest and without an expectation of return, with equal or lesser love. And this is from the Greek, from Vine's dictionary.
Come on.
Concordance.
Concordance. Concordance. Do you know what I'm saying? That's where it comes from. And it was like I was having that conversation with God, that I have loved you unconditionally. Just because everybody else has loved you conditionally, this was another verse that hit me so hard as I was having this conversation. Do not let that which is good for you be spoken of as evil. It's in Rome. I think it's in Romans chapter 4, verse 14, verse 5. And I realized that I was condemning my love. I was speaking ill of my love.
Your own love.
Because I wanted it to now be labored for and be served in the way that I'm serving and laboring for love, without realizing that I have received free love. And in that time, the love that I've received was through the church, through my pastor. So many people are loving me far more than the love that I never had. But here I am continuing to cry about the love that I never had. And as opposed to being appreciative and enjoying The fact that I can love my wife the way that I was loving my wife, it was torturing me.
It's crazy.
And I was tired.
It's crazy.
I was tired of the torment, man.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm very fucking knife now. And I want to enjoy it as well.
Yeah.
And when
Would you say she wasn't giving you any love at that
she
point?
was, man.
Yeah, but you were.
But being
you were-
challenged,
you were
you
just-
can't do it.
Yeah. You were
I'm
so.
good. I'm good.
Yeah.
You know, maybe
You were blinded by your own self-obsession.
I was blinded by my
Yeah.
own self-obsession and then
Sure.
hypervigilance.
Yeah.
You go to the one other thing that hypervigilance does is that you're so obsessed with what potentially dangerous, you ignore everything else that's
Become
safe.
fixated.
Yeah.
Fixated.
On this one
fixated.
thing.
Yeah. And this thing you base your entire experience on this one thing that you're
Yeah.
not getting.
One thing. Yeah.
And it's very self-righteous.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, it borders on narcissism. It can be very narcissistic.
Yeah.
And it was a hard thing for me to accept. I'm Pastor Jabu Zwane, man.
Jay,
Everybody
Zwane.
tells me about how loving and kind and caring I am. It's her. It must be her. It's her fault.
Oh, yeah.
It can't be me because mina ngumfundisi.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was really a very deep conversation of healing that I had to go through. And of course, I called my pastor in the US and we chatted about it and probably spent about a couple of conversations where he was taking me through it. You know, because then the part of that is that once you come to that realization, my other trauma is to self-punish. Then once I realized that, then I wanted to really punish myself and be very hard on myself.
Yeah.
The beauty of having men like that in your life, he says to me, no. You're doing the exact same thing you keep on doing. Now you're punishing yourself. Come back. Sit with the realization, with acknowledgement, and then start to ask yourself then, what do you need to do?
Sure.
Don't obsess about what you did, because that's what punishing yourself does, is that it takes you back again. Don't go back then. Hold on.
You're just re-traumatizing
Yeah,
yourself.
you're re-traumatizing yourself again.
Sure.
Sit here and then think about going forward. How then do you manage that? Because it doesn't go away immediately. It doesn't go away immediately. I mean, every now and then, you know, I want to know, baby, where's my special coffee?
Sure.
I mean, you know I like my special coffee.
Sure.
You know this thing is trauma for me.
Sure.
You know?
That's
But
good,
then
yeah.
even accepting that, like, actually, she doesn't have to make me my special coffee.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to. I can appreciate the love that she has for me for what it is.
Yeah.
And believe her when she says, I'm not leaving, I'm here. I'm with you, dude.
It's crazy.
I'm not your mom, I'm not gonna leave. I'm not your dad, I'm not gonna leave. I'm not your aunts, I'm not gonna leave. You know, I'm here.
It's crazy, man.
So yeah, that's
So what I'm picking up is, I think what a key component was is your pastor helping you to see what was happening in your life, what's going on in your brain, and I think that's a helpful point, because I think when we're in the midst of these traumas, it is hard to step out of yourself and actually say, "I like us keep on, mom," you know. But you'll need external voices that can objectively analyze the situation and be more critical. You know?
absolutely, man.
So when you were veering off to now punish yourself, you had somebody who said, "Hey, you're doing that thing again. Come this way," you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is helpful. For you guys, how did you wake up?
I think it's a similar thing to Uzo, and I think to me it's really, I realize that it's actually it's unfolding
Yeah.
on a so it's not a once off kind of thing. Like it's an unfolding realization. You know, when you're thinking we pay to God, then you realize, no man, you know. So I feel like I have those moments time and again. I'm like, no man, you know. The Bible says in the multitude of counsel there is safety. Another verse that I love, it says you must go to the crossroad and there you must ask the ways of the old and follow those ways. So one of the things I had to make peace with is that I can't know anything. I don't know everything. I don't know. I'm not an expert in everything, right? And so it's very important for me to reach out to men that I look up to, men that are seemingly doing the right things. People have been married for some time. They're living by the right values. They're Christian. They love God. They love their families. And pastors, man, shout out to pastors. You know, I had a loving dad, but he passed away when I was quite young. I was 21 when he passed away. But church came in. Pastors became fathers to me. I'm remembering now. I think about a couple of weeks ago, I had a coffee with my pastor, Pastor K, and I'm going there. I'm like, I want to tell him about this woman. I'm going to pull an Adam stint and say, "This the wife you've given me." So I go there, right, and I want to say, "The wife you've given me," and I'm having a conversation with him. The more I have a conversation with him, I realize I'm the problem.
Ooh.
Like I realize, like I'm just having coffee with him, Pastor K, and just like, yeah, he's talking and he's asking me questions, right? It's like, you need to lead with questions, this, that, and the other. And then I realize, no matter if I'm
Yeah.
and that time I'm thinking she's the problem.
Sure.
For the longest of time, whenever she and I would not see eye to eye on certain matters, I would say, we need to go for therapy. And Pastor K is like, the thing is, you're bringing that as if we need to go to therapy so that we can fix her.
Yeah.
So you are the problem.
Yeah.
Let's go to therapy.
Yeah.
Let's get you fixed. And it's like, have you looked at yourself? Have you checked 1, 2, 3, and 4? So mentors and father figures and pastors are really playing that role. So every time I realize that I'm not winning on this, that I call someone, but it takes a lot. Let's be honest. It's not an easy thing because which I would say is I'm Jabu Zwane. I'm Themba Ntuli. Dog, I'm Themba Tom, dog.
Tom, man.
I'm me, dog.
Yeah,
You understand?
yeah.
So it takes a lot to be broken and be vulnerable in that sense. To speak to another man who probably sees you, or other people that probably see you as if you've got it all under control. And you go there and say, hey, Baba, yeah, better. I'm not even sure if I'm doing the right thing here. Takes a lot. It takes a lot, but it really comes in handy. It really helps. So constantly, then I realize that I'm going for what my wife has already probably has, like a group of women that she talks to that are speaking into her, this, that, and the other. I used to, in our early days of marriage, I used to say to her, you need to find an elderly woman that can speak into her life. That time, there's
You don't
no
have
one.
elderly man. You say,
I like a diamond that speaks into my life. You understand? It has always been you need to do this. You need to find a woman that speaks into your life. But I realized I also need elders that can speak into my life. And she needs to know that I'm actually having this conversation, because sometimes we're having conversations with elders that are speaking into our lives, but our wives don't know. So they don't know who to call.
Yes.
When you are misbehaving.
When you misbehaving. Come on.
Because they don't know who you're speaking to.
Come on now.
What's the voice that's speaking into your life? Who is it that is speaking into your life? So I think we need to get into a point, and I've made it a point to say I must be intentional about it. When I'm having coffee with Pastor K, I'm like, I had coffee with Pastor K. He had a conversation. I'm going to change it. I'm going to change this. So that she knows, should I misbehave or whatever the case might be, then she can call you back and say, Intwana yako jo, that husband. That husband is not that husband.
We are papa kula microphone.
Next.
Shucks,
So
man.
Takes a lot though.
That's true, bro.
For me, it was a very difficult journey because I needed to go back a lot. I needed to do a lot of rewinding. But one of the things as an sister is to be honest with myself. And when I started being honest with myself, I realized one very important thing. I realized that my wife is not living with my vows, but she's living with my habits.
Sir.
She's not living with my vows. She's living with my habits. You understand? My vows could be going that way, and my habits are going that way.
And your habits are what are taking her and guiding
and my
her.
habits are the ones ezimisa. Marangimpromise.
There's
Understand?
contention between the
Yes, yeah. So my habits speaks to my pattern.
I don't like this guy, guys. I don't
Right?
like him, man.
And my pattern
don't like
is
him.
linked
I don't like
to my blueprint. So I cannot fix my habit and not fix my patterns. And me fixing my patterns, I need to go back and identify the blueprint. We understand. And my biggest horror with my blueprint was my upbringing, my childhood. We understand. So I started by having a lot of conversations with her on what happened to me. And she would say, love, come on, better, serious. Yo, and ukhule kabuhlungu, yabona? And I started laughing about these things. Yabona? And I will tell her stories, and she would say, "Mara wena ngathi ungixoxela i-Nigerian movie."
Bioscope, daddy.
Ungixoxela ibhayisikophu. Uyangithola ne?
Yeah.
And up until yabo ezinye izinto, I would maybe yabo sidlula somewhere ngithi, hey,
Yeah.
ngike ngadla kule rubbish bin. You understand? Like, okay. And now, me unpacking those was me slowly working on myself and slowly working on my habits. I got into a space la I was fully emotionally available for her and for my kids.
Yeah.
You understand? I can promise you right now, my brother, my stepfather is a millionaire, but my kids ba beja ngambut. Come on. You understand? Yabona mina right now, I want you to understand mangathiwa ngiyabhoda today. I-out mfana ezothrowa ifro yami ibhekene nenkinga.
Yohlupheka jo. Noma
Angeke
ingeze kuyipulele.
u-enjoy leyo mshado bhuti. Because bazohlala bamfuna mina all the time nanoma ngingasekho.
Come on, bro.
You understand? Ne? Because I needed to learn to be emotionally available for her. Because emotional availability plays over 90% of sustaining umshado. There comes a time la uthando lakho lungayenzi
Aliyenzi
nix.
nix, mfethu.
You understand? I-provision yakho siwesigetina because we were taught to provide inyugu. We're taught to provide izindlu and all of that. We're never taught to provide emotional security.
Joy.
You understand?
Happiness.
Mina
Sure.
right now, mfana, anything, I'm the first person that my wife will call. And just know, I just want to share with you. Kwenzeke lokhu. You understand? Because I created that platform.
Yeah.
So, ibalulekile lento yokuthi self-awareness before the vows.
Come on now.
Because wena ufuna ukukhipha ama-vows and lo muntu omnikeza ama-vows, they expect a lot from you.
Yeah.
You have a lot of duties to perform kubo, but you are not even aware of yourself. So work on yourself,
Man.
uzoba mnandi.
Come on.
Brother, that's incredible. And yeah, see, that's incredible. And shout outs to you guys for even just sharing your stories. Part of why we're doing this is to try and encourage husbands. If you've been married, kind of go back. Let this be a refresher. Maybe there's areas in which you are failing already and you're realizing the gravity of marriage. But then there's guys who want to get married and they're not having any conversations about how marriage is going to require a lot of work.
Yeah.
And so you're probably even hearing this for the first time. And in fact, let me plug this in on the 4th of October. We're doing a workshop where we're going to be chatting about this kind of stuff to help you so that one, you can refresh your vows so that you can live according to them, challenge your habits and your patterns. But if you're scared of marriage, but you desire it, I think it will also be a dope space for you to come just so that you start having these kind of conversations before you even get married, you know? And I think with that, I wanted to ask you guys and you can comment on any of them or all of them. Spiritually, how does a husband prep himself? Emotionally, you kind of spoke about that stuff as well. Sexually, nobody had time sex.
Is a penis. Man is obsessed with the penis. Hey, cut my leg, no, cut my penis.
That's fire, though. Another one is communication.
Yeah.
How do we prep ourselves as husbands for, which is probably going to be a very big part of your marriage.
Yeah. Big time.
How do you communicate with yourself? How do you learn to communicate with your wife? How do you learn to communicate with the family that you're building? I'll start here spiritually, and then you guys can jump in. But earlier on, I did speak about how my wife left, and we were arguing over the Bible again. Okay, it took me 9 years to realize what I had been doing. So even when we weren't talking about the thing, I was still hell bent in saying, I'm the leader of this household, and there's one way in which we're going to express our spirituality or our faith, etc., etc. But it's that 9-year conversation that I realized I bulldozed my wife So the minute she left, I should have waited for her to come back or even run after her, whatever the case is. But I should have addressed what was going on in her heart and asked why she left, But instead, I just went into my shelf. One, I thought, man, I'm a loser. I came in here thinking that I'm going to be the spiritual guru. I'm going to lead my family, and clearly I failed. But then to mask that failure, to deal with it, I was like, oh, yeah, Hlanya, we're not addressing this thing. Oh, why? I'm right.
After 9 years.
Yeah, I didn't even. No, I was ngeke sakhulume ngayo. I'm right.
Yeah.
She shouldn't have left, In fact, she's the one who quit on our spiritual life. When she's ready, she'll come back. I'm just going to continue with, doing stuff. But in the process, I didn't know that shaped my posture and how I move when it comes to the spiritual culture or climate of our household, And then that blinded me to observe what kind of faith expression she has at an individual level. We're two different people. Yes, we believe the same things, we uphold the same values, but man, the way God works in our lives is going to be different. And in fact, we're good for each other because God works differently in our lives. And how she's wired spiritually is going to help shape me, and how I'm wired spiritually is going to help shape her. But I didn't care. Didn't care. This is what we're doing. And man, I just bulldozed my wife, and I didn't realize that slowly just her light was dying. Because she can go to church, find pockets in which she can express her faith, but when she comes home, I know what this guy thinks, and in fact, he hasn't even addressed the first incident, and so now I am just gonna sit in my own corner, do my thing, and at that point, I'm justifying it by saying, well, at least we're not fighting about the stuff anymore, but I'm also not actively working to fix it. I'm just being passive and saying, well, we're not fighting about it, but we're not talking about it either, And so I realized, man, like I killed my wife's light for that 9-year period. And it's only after the 9 years when we spoke about it. And then the first thing I did is just express how that evening made me feel, how it killed my confidence, and then why I justified and hid the fact that I'm a failure and that my confidence was hit. I hid it by being passive, And so then I realized that, and it's only then that she also opened up and expressed what it looked like for her, to be experiencing that, to be in a relationship, to be in a marriage with somebody who goes on stage, eloquently preaches the Bible, disciples people. I'm in ministry, but when I come home,
you're passive.
Yeah, but I'm justifying it with, I'm sure we fought, Pella, and you left. So if you left, like I don't want one. If I'm being polite, I don't wanna unravel your scar. I'm gonna go But it's justification for my passivity, And so then it's at that point I was like, man, spiritually I've been failing. I failed my wife.
Sure.
I came in thinking, well, because we believe the same things, marriage is going to be smooth, but not realizing that the very design of marriage is going to unearth certain things at a spiritual level in me, in her, and the first thing that happened was that, and I just went cold,
Sure.
and didn't walk in the weightiness of what it means to disciple your wife spiritually. When the Bible says that I need to wash her with the word, and present her holy and blameless.
I love that.
For me, it was like, sure, the holy and blameless things. We're here. Well, it's gonna happen somehow. But I'm not actively taking steps, putting in measures, putting in systems, listening to her, finding out what her heart is, how she's wired. Maybe I could try this. Maybe I could do that other thing, etc., etc. And it's literally year 9 where I started just at least opening up our home and creating an environment for her to just fully, at least try and express what her faith expression is and what my faith expression is, and to kind of walk us to this middle, to say, hey, let's see how God has wired you and how He's wired me, and how that thing is going to show the reason why we're together. Why I wasn't with the same person who's wired like me, or vice versa. And it's only now, man, that like there's a level of confidence that's gained again, And recently she was like, man, I'm proud of you. You know, I'm proud of how you showing up in this area, and especially because I know how much hurt there is there. I know how much scarring there is there. You know what I mean? And even that got me thinking. I'm like, I wonder how many dudes are just like bulldozing their wives in all areas, financially, emotionally, spiritually, and it's because we don't have, the tools, the capacity to walk in confidence in those areas, man. You know, so yeah.
It's making me think of the following as you're talking.
Yeah.
And you've mentioned this about the danger of not being vulnerable. I think the greatest danger with men not being vulnerable is the vulnerability to resentment. The reason, you know what resentment is? Resentment is when you get hurt, you suppress it, and you think that your emotions are gonna forget. You can suppress the emotions, but guess where the memory is vivid?
Stored.
It's vivid in the mind.
Body doesn't forget, man.
It's buried in the emotions, suppressed in the emotions, but it's alive in the mind. Guess what's doing in the mind? It's ruminating. It's festering. It's playing over and over again. Every time she does something, guess what happens?
Triggers that.
You remember, you left. Oh no, but you didn't listen to me that day. Oh no, but you spoke to your dad the other day, remember? Now remember, you didn't cook for me the way that I asked you to cook for.
You called the pasta.
And that is the danger of suppressing the emotions, is that if you don't work them out, you can't reason them out. You can't reason it because you're keeping it in there. And the only way that you're reasoning with it now is with remembering it and then with playing it over and over in your mind. And this actually may explain why so many of us, we actually end up leaving the women we built with. And if we're also looking at some of these podcasts where these things have been spoken about, it's a lot of resentment that a lot of men are harboring about women. And it makes them very fearful. They're afraid of they're afraid of being taken advantage of, and then they've got
She's a gold digger.
this
But you
gold
don't have gold.
gold.
Where is the gold?
It's the gold, brother. You don't even know gold. You're afraid of, you can't even go out there and get the gold. You're even afraid of going out to get the gold yourself. Because of you're not dealing. We're not dealing with with those emotions.
Yes, sir.
And I think that, and I realize that even with me, I have had those.
I'm thinking about that. I'm like, you're not even a zamazama. I'm not called a zamazama.
That's the worst thing about you. You have these jokes that carry on in your head the whole time. But yeah. But here's the thing about it. Like, this is what I'm thinking about. Like, I mean, this is vulnerable. Sure. The fact that we continue to make it weak and womanly for men to express their emotions, it means that they are very vulnerable to resentment. And resentment makes you very fragile. It makes you very fragile because it keeps the offense alive. And to go back to your point, then makes you that hyper vigilant. Then everything all of a sudden now it becomes a lens. Now all of a sudden you're seeing everything through that that hurt, that pain. Everything it's altered. It's seen through that. And I think, I mean, as we're talking about it, I'm thinking to myself, part of the communication is the inner conversation that you're going to have with yourself.
Come on now.
Like as a man, you got to catch yourself. Like, what conversations are you having? What evil are you plotting against your wife?
Sure.
What evil? Like literally.
That's good.
What evil are you plotting?
That's good.
What are some of those things we were talking about yesterday? Like, what is that one day is one day? What is that one day is one day? One day, mostly now that you've got the money and she have more money than her, now what? Uzomkhombisa ini? Yini le nto uzokhombisa? Uzokhombisa bani? Uzomkhombisa ini? Ngobani? Ngani? Uyabona njani? Uyabona? That inner dialogue that you are having, you need to deal with that inner dialogue that you're having with yourself.
I think that's the thumbnail for this video. What evil are you plotting against your wife?
You. Like literally, because for what? Lezo zono. Uzigcine la engqondweni.
Engqondweni yakho.
And then but you're suppressing them here in your heart, pretending ukuthi azikho. Aye, because you don't want to show that you don't want to show ukuthi wena uzile ubuhlungu ngakithi. Awufuni uveze. Aye, forget it. But in your mind, it's festering and it's infecting your entire mind.
Man.
You know, it's infecting your entire mind. And as a result, the verse that you've mentioned now, I love that verse about washing your wife with water and presenting her as pure before the Lord. Where now, what are you washing your wife? What are you washing your what water are you using to wash?
Yeah.
Is there even what?
Yeah. And then you're presenting her in front of people as what? Is she pure in front of people?
And then you call her bitter.
Unjani?
Who umnikele bitterness?
When you're presenting her to God, unjani umfazi wakho? When you're presenting her in front of people, unjani? You know, like you've never heard some guys say anything positive about their wives.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why their families don't respect their wives. Because they see ukuthi lo muntu akahloniphi umfazi wakhe. And so uputwam, umenzani uputwam, you know, and like, people are going to treat your wife the way that you present her.
Come on, bro.
You know,
Come on, bro.
you know, before it as we are putting this workshop together, there's two major things that now that sorry, this is me inviting Amachita already.
Please.
Yeah. There's two major things that I want to share with anyone who's about workshop.
Sure.
And we'll expand. Uguti, as a man, you need to understand, Uguti, your kids don't only inherit your surname, they inherit the state of your mind as well. So you need to heal so that they inherit the whole you. Right? Because you can be so caught up when nomuntu wakho in these fights. And some of these fights, your kids are there, they experience it. Ezinye you think balela bezwa nix. You understand? But bayezo. Gogunye abezwanga, but when they walk in and they look at your face, they know ukuthi khona into beyenzeka. So one of the things ekumele uzibuze zona ukuthi, do you really want your kids to spend the rest of their lives trying to heal from you now? Right?
Man.
Do you want them to spend the rest of their lives trying to heal from you and your partner? Let me follow. Right? So as you are preparing to get married, understand Uguti, a big deal here is not finding the right wife or the right woman, but the big deal is you becoming the right man.
Come on.
And that's what we're going to shape out of you.
Come on.
Come on, man.
Shout out. Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out. Some of us have inherited the minds of our absent fathers. And we're spending the rest of our marriages healing from that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bafethu ngathi ngisitherapy nami namhlanje. I'm thinking of me shy appointment. I know I must come.
That's wild, bro.
Like
That's wild, man.
there's just one thing that is in my heart, and again, it's an invitation to Amachi. We're going to expand on it when we have the workshop. There are three things. The lifespan of a man, which talks into, how long a man lives.
Yeah.
The second one is the health span of a man, how long a man live being healthy without any chronic diseases, whether it's HIV or non-communicable diseases, high blood pressure, sugar, diabetes. But we hardly talk about the third span, which is the sex span of a man. I was having a conversation this other time in church with married men. And so there's an interesting thing in the Bible that Gehazi has a conversation with Elisha when there's a conversation about a Shunammite woman. Gehazi says, and Elijah says, what can we do for her? She's been good and kind to us. Gehazi says, well, I've noticed that, they don't have a son. And Gehazi says, and the husband is old. Gehazi does not say the wife is old. And when you look about, when you check reproductive health and medicine, often than not, the wife's age is a factor. Because when a woman reaches the age of 35 and going above, they are classified as what we call advanced maternal age. So, issues of conception becomes a challenge. But Gehazi says the husband is old, right? Which we might talk about the issue of sex span. It is not in God's design, and we can actually argue this, for men to lose their sex span earlier. Right? We've got men that grow lifespan. They are living relatively healthy lives, health span, but their sex span is dead. You've got a 45-year-old that has no sex span, meaning amagama vele konke ayivuka ilali ayenzi next ayikho inyama le ayikho, you understand? And that's what frustrates a lot of men. So I think we're just going to expand more on that to say how do we ensure that as a man you live longer lifespan, you live healthier health span, and over and above that, how do we ensure that as a man you've got a very long sex span? That one we hardly talk about. That's why you'd find like a 50-year-old man who's frustrated because they cannot have, or they cannot enjoy sex in the house. Or the wife is now frustrated because I'm like, how? It's not functioning. But there are things that we need to look into. Like we need to look into the issues of health, habits, this, that, and the other. But we must have these conversations with Amajid to say what you're doing, the habits that you are having are actually going to mess up
Before
the
marriage.
before marriage.
Before marriage.
Before marriage, because then we think that, we must have this conversation, and that's where sometimes we lose it. We don't have this conversation with these boys before they get married. We're like, no, this is for old people, go there. You understand? But how then do we tailor a message that will talk to them about their lifespan, health span, and sex span that is tailored for them in a way that is not going to provoke them and provoke their emotions, right? It's not a question of whether or not we should have a conversation. I mean, that is given. We need to have a conversation. But how do we have it in a way that it's not going to provoke them? Very much important. And often than not, we have looked into the nature of the conversation and we have said, no, we are excluding them from that. And instead of us looking at it and say, how best can we tailor it so that it can make sense to them? The habits that they are doing, some of the things they are smoking, some of the things they are watching, creating expectations. Funifro lakho fly lingene kushanda le. Yeah, lilenge so, ngabona. Ufuna be what sweet candy.
Cynthia Rock.
Dog, who thinks of Cynthia dog? You wanted to do these things because that's what you've been feeding yourself. Right? And often than not, it's coping mechanisms before marriage. Again, we need to have a conversation to unmarried guys to say, how then do you deal with the urges? I was talking the other time, a couple of months ago, about edges and pledges. The contention between the two. You've got edges and you've got the pledge to to stay a pure life and live pure life. To say, how then do you become horny but holy?
Hey. Oh, yes, Lord.
It's possible to be horny, but still be
Holy
holy.
God. There's a hole in here.
I must come just for that, guys.
No.
Even if you didn't invite me, I was gonna come.
Just for that.
Just for that. Now come just for that. Themba, that's amazing, man. I think for me, the conversation will really be about that. Like as men, what do you think communication means?
Yes.
And I think that's a very important thing to repeat that. You as a man, what do you think communication means? What meaning do you attach to it? Because the meaning you attach to it is going to determine your attitude towards it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And then your attitude then is going to determine how it plays out in your marriage. If you think that talking about your issues means that there's something less about you,
Yes, sir.
Sure.
something unmanly about you, because we have this thing where we normally associate communication with being a woman. And unfortunately, the other unhealthy perspective is that a woman is the opposite of a man. So everything that is womanly, cannot be manly. Without understanding that actually going back to a story again, the way that boys are treated when they talk, when they're young, that's where it all went wrong. There's a talk that I did, and this statement always plays in my mind that the boy cries or the girl cries and everybody wants to know what's wrong and attends to the girl. The boy cries, they tell him, wipe your tears, stop crying. And then the boy not only stops crying, but also the boy stops talking.
Yes, sir.
Because silence is some kind of currency that determines his manhood.
Yeah.
And so therefore we glorify silence to be more manly than talking. And the danger with that is what we see, what we have today. We have a lot of women who are very frustrated because they live with this, I think the word you mentioned, stones in the home. Where instead of being the rock of the house,
Hey, come
you are
on
the
now.
stone
Oh yeah.
in the
Come on,
house.
man. Fire now.
Come on, guys.
You're on fire
We're
now.
going to go to these things.
Come on, bro.
So come through and learn what it means, what communication is. And we'll get some practical tools on how to teach yourself to communicate as a man and speak in the language that you are comfortable with as a man and develop the vocabulary and possess that vocabulary and then speak that out even in your own relationship. But trust me, your wife is going to love you for it.
Come on, bro.
And some of you are going to start getting some action very, very, very soon.
Come on now.
Oh yeah.
Come
Come now.
Yeah.
The bed will be shaking.
Yeah,
Come now.
yeah,
Come now. Shaking bed.
Money back guarantee.
Money back guarantee. If you got this, I know.
Nah, that's fire, man. Gents, truly appreciate this, man. Appreciate your inputs. I appreciate the kind of men that you are and how you show up.
How did you put this? I don't like how. What?
You guys are geniuses, man.
I mean, I'm incredibly blessed, guys.
Yeah.
I know. I feel loved.
Yeah.
I feel like God loves me.
Yeah,
Just
sure.
for being here.
Yeah, sure.
Listening to you guys, just being in your presence.
Come on, man.
I
Come
mean,
on, bro.
Oh, that's cute,
I
man.
really-
We lie you.
Yeah.
We lie you. Guys can't say I love you. I lie you.
He's uncomfortable. You know how a man is uncomfortable when you say he loves you?
Yeah.
He adds a bro at the end.
Yeah.
Or he puts an adjective at the beginning.
Yeah.
Mad love, bro.
Yeah, dog.
Much love, bro.
Love, yeah.
Right? Or he adds a bro and it's
Yeah.
like, no, just say it clean.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you.
Full stop.
No,
Themba, I love you, man.
I love you, bro.
Love you, my dog.
You're my dog, man.
Jayam. Sekangathi ngiyakuthanda. Yo. We are far. Yeah. So no, man. I think it's just you guys are, you don't just say the stuff that you say online, but like you men who are trying to live it.
Yes.
And I've been in your presence a couple of times, and your story is the same. So man, I
Faking
just,
is hard, man. Faking life is tough.
It is, man.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
It's hard.
Maybe
'cause-
in the notebook futhi la ubhala khona.
Yeah, uthi, konje uthemba
Ngizokuzula
ngemtshelezi.
zolo.
Yeah.
Yeah, ngithe my net worth ingaka. Yabona.
Yeah. So you might as well just live honestly, man. So yeah, and I think, gents who come to the workshop, they'll be blessed, man, by what you guys have and just the deposits and the gems that you constantly share. Every time I have you guys on the podcast, there's always new things I'm learning myself. So I definitely want to share that gift with other men, and I think they'll be blessed by it, man. So yeah.
See them there.
Yeah, let's do that, man. 4th October. Just keep your calendars open. Make sure that you're inviting other gents. This is going to be one for the books. And if you're a wife watching this, sign up for your husband.
Yeah.
Make sure that he's coming.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's going to be
Yes.
dope, man. It's going to be soft boot camp of it.
Yeah.
Soft. Ngoba sifuna ukuyisa emahlathini.
Yeah.
Still now. So, yeah. Any last words, man? Any last words from you guys?
Mina, as I mentioned ekuqaleni bafowethu, I am here to learn and listen, and I've learned a lot.
Come on, man.
So my advice to any outie out there, Uguti, don't keep away from the fire because you'll get cold and you will run somewhere else to seek your warmth. Yabo? This is the fire that you need. Don't keep away from this fire.
Come on, bro.
Danko.
Shout out.
We lay yonke.
Ntuli?
No, I
No, man, I've really, really learned a lot, enjoyed it. I admire everyone that is here.
Sure.
So it's such a huge pleasure for me to sit with you guys and have these conversations and laugh. This has been therapeutic to me. And I want to say it. I love you guys.
No, just say
No, I must not say guys.
Yeah.
I love you. Who?
I love you.
So, yeah. No, mina
It's I love you. Full
Jabu.
stop.
I love you.
mina ngifuna ukuresponda back kuthulile ne.
Yeah.
Sizoyiqeda ntwana. Don't I love you mina that's so
Yeah,
Sokufonela for
you know.
Anguphethe sonke.
No, but I can't wait to see the guys on the fourth, man.
Yeah, come on, bro.
No, man. Look,
Yeah.
I honestly don't have a lot to say. Like I said, I already said it. I feel loved by God.
Yeah.
Just being in your presence has been amazing. I'm feeling very, very blessed.
Stop, man.
And just the incredible time with everybody in the studio. I'm looking forward to the fourth. I'm looking forward to the anointing and to learn some more. I learned a lot. I'm going to be watching this episode probably 3 or 4 or 5 times because
Come on, bro.
a lot came out of this.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Man, from us, we'll see you on the 4th, man. Tell other gents that it's happening. Husband prep workshop. If you're a husband already, this is going to be a dope refresher. Things that you might not have covered, and you waking up to the realization how heavy your marriage is. So make sure that you're pulling through, and it's going to be incredible, man. It's going to be dope. Trust us.
Yeah.
Trust us.
Yes.
All right?
Four.
Yeah, 4. C4.
Yeah, C4. Yeah.
Sizovusizini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sizolaphi Z4.
I'm out of here.
All right. Peace out, man.
Peace, guys.